Today on Studio One, where would we be without signs? Today, we'll spend a day in the life of a sign maker. Also under the B, 15. Bingo is a popular game which has stood the test of time. We'll talk to some regular players. And many families are waiting for their loved ones to return from Iraq. We'll introduce you to a couple whose son is facing Saddam's troops for the second time.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Adria Ensrud. Well, Easter is around the corner.
Yes, it is.
And with Easter comes some traditions, I'm sure. What kind of Easter traditions did you have?
Well, we did the whole hide the Easter egg thing in the house.
You did, the Easter egg hunt. Did you dye the eggs?
We didn't dye eggs too much. You know, every once in a while, I guess. But you know, 3 or 4 months later, you find the lone Easter egg that used to be soft candy, and then it was
really hard.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, actually, coming later in the show, we're going to have one of our favorite guests come on, Chef Kim Holmes. Mm-hmm. He comes on all the time, and he's going to teach us how to prepare a traditional Easter dinner for our family.
And I can smell it already.
I know, it's tempting.
We're looking forward to that. Also coming up on the show, young children can learn a lot during playtime. We'll take you to a special event that encourages kids to explore the world around them.
And autism is a disorder that affects kids in the earliest stages of their lives. It is often unheard of, and many parents rarely know the warning signs. Later, we'll talk to a pediatric psychologist about what parents should do if their child is affected.
Before we get to all that, here's today's news with Haley Wamstead.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. Looting has been a major problem on the streets of Baghdad since the fall of Saddam's regime, and now one of the looters' most recent targets is raising concerns among some Iraqi health workers. Looters raided a health lab full of cultures and samples that could be contaminated with infectious diseases. This facility was used to analyze blood work and samples from all over Iraq, much like the Center for Disease Control in the U.S. After the looting, most of the vials and samples were found dumped on the ground. Researchers are worried that some of the equipment and samples were taken when the looters took refrigerators, computers, and equipment. Also in Baghdad, CIA and defense officials are trying to solve a mystery from over a decade ago. F-18 pilot Scott Spiker was shot down in Iraq the first night of the Gulf War in 1991. In 1995, defense officials visited the crash site with the Red Cross, but have never been able to verify what happened to him. So now with Saddam's regime gone, defense intelligence officials are looking to further into the situation. They are trying to talk directly to informants, look at documents, and even visit prisons where some say he might have been held. But they say they have no information to prove that he's still alive. The recent death of an NBC reporter in Iraq has brought attention to the dangers of blood clots. David Bloom died from a pulmonary embolism, a condition where a blood clot floats into the lungs. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the American Public Health Association are now calling on doctors to screen all patients for possible clotting within the veins. Many hospitals have special devices called the duplex ultrasound, which can detect blood flow throughout the body. Blood clots often first form deep within the leg muscles and can go undetected. One doctor says this device is vital in finding blood clots before it's too late.
It's ultrasound, just like I tell the patients, it's like the looking for walleyes up at Lake of the Woods or whatever, but it also has an attachment where it can detect flowing blood, which is analogous to what the police use to check the speed of a car.
People who have blood clots in their family history and those who are pregnant or on birth control are at a higher risk. Blood clots can also develop in cancer patients, those who have recently had surgery, and in people who sit for a long time while traveling. The growing number of overweight children is causing many parents to reconsider what their kids are eating. That's why some fast food restaurants like McDonald's might change their menus to offer healthier substitutions for kids. McDonald's is considering adding fruits, vegetables, and other healthy foods as an option in children's Happy Meals. McDonald's says it wants to educate consumers about what makes up a balanced meal and what foods they should eat in moderation. But some say the change is in response to several lawsuits that contend the restaurant chain has contributed to obesity in children. Early childhood education is becoming more popular as studies continually prove that it leads to success later in life. Knowing the significance of this responsibility is important for both parents and caretakers, and a special event is helping them to make that connection.
These kids may seem like they're just having fun, but in reality they are learning about their surroundings through play and creativity. This annual event in Grand Forks, North Dakota emphasizes the importance of early childhood education. It is called the Hands-On Learning Fair, where parents and their children come to both learn and play. This one-day program is designed to bring families together in a fun learning environment. It is also intended to help parents realize the importance of early childhood education, and that learning does not begin when a child starts school.
Learning begins at birth, and finally that learning is fun for children and takes place through everyday interactions and play that children are normally involved in.
Milovitz also says that parents should be willing to read their child's cues and understand their curiosity. This can be done by simple communication between the parent and child.
They begin what's known as this dance, where you have a whole lifetime of reciprocal interactions that are going to be building up. And these form a trusting relationship between child and adult.
Currently, most families have both parents working full-time and out of the home. Because of this, Milovitz stresses the need for quality child care providers.
People who work with children in groups do need some specialized knowledge, and so it's very, very important for them to be able to get the training and the education and the understanding about child development.
Milovitz says she is happy the event has helped parents realize the importance of early childhood education and that learning should be entertaining and fun. Reporting for Studio One News, I'm Courtney Ryan.
With the U.S. spending billions on the war in Iraq and the nation's mounting deficit, some child care providers are concerned about future funding for early childhood education programs. And that's news for now. Monty and Adria.
Thanks, Haley. Well, just when you think it's safe to put the ice scraper away.
I know, you have to use it. Because I used mine this morning and I was not too happy
That's
scraping
right.
that ice off
It's
in
April.
I know.
What can you say? Off
It's
and on.
crazy. Well, why don't we go check in with Nadine Schrader at the Regional Weather Information Center and see if that, hopefully that snow will go away.
Well, Monty and Adria, it does look like that snow is going to go away as we go into this weekend, and I apologize that you had to take your snow scraper out again. But before we get to the extended forecast, let's take a look at our almanac for Grand Forks. Today we hit a high of 41 degrees, which is what we're currently sitting at. We're about 15 degrees lower than our normal high for this year. Our low was at 26 this morning, and our sun will set tonight at 8:21 p.m. Currently in Grand Forks, we're sitting at mostly cloudy skies, temperature of 41 degrees, dew point of 31, relative humidity at 67%, winds out of the southwest at 10 miles an hour, and our pressure falling at 29.96 inches of mercury. So look at our regional temperatures. We are seeing it warm up as we start from the west and work our way east. Our temperature is below average in Fargo, right around 41. Bismarck almost at average at 56. Right about average in Billings, 61 degrees. Beautiful temperatures down in North Platte at 62. And warming up in Minneapolis right around 40 degrees. As we look at our surface analysis, our region is currently under mostly cloudy skies. We're going to see this low pressure system work its way into our area, bringing some more clouds into the evening. As we look across our nation, currently we are seeing a low pressure system creating a stir down towards the southeast corner, where they are going to experiencing some thunderstorms down in the Georgia and Carolina areas. As we see this storm moving its way up towards the coast tomorrow, it's going to see some more snow in Pennsylvania and right around the Virginias area. We are seeing this low pressure system move into the southern part of our region, creating some more rain showers throughout tomorrow afternoon. It's going to work its way into the weekend for us. And out towards Oregon, they are seeing some more storms develop, where they are going to see some rain tomorrow. Friday's forecast shows a high of 55 degrees, low of 33. Partly sunny skies with increasing clouds throughout the afternoon. South to southeast winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Your Studio One weather IQ question for this week is, during the flood of 1997, what level did the Red River crest at in Grand Forks, North Dakota? You have answers ranging between 26.12 feet and 54.11 feet. We'll have the answer for that question and your extended forecast coming up for you guys later in the show.
Thank you so much, Nadine. Well, I don't feel so bad because there's rain and snow in other spots. So.
Yeah, across the nation, it just seems like there's different things going on in the weather.
Exactly.
Crazy. Well, let's go now to sports with Corey Morlock.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. It's been almost 11 years since an NHL playoff game was played in Minnesota. The Wild lost their first home game to Colorado, but were looking for redemption in front of the home crowd Wednesday night. To the XL Energy Center, First period, no score. Joe Sakic with a great move. Lets go a wrister as he's fallen down to beat Dwayne Rolson. Avs would go up 1-0. Still in the first, Colorado on the power play. Sakic just abusing the Wild. Lets go another wrister. Puts Colorado up 2-0. Future Hall of Famer Patrick Waugh on his game. Coming up huge. The Avs would go on to win 3-1. More hockey action. Tampa Bay at Washington. Martin St. Louis. Pick up your shorts, defenseman. You just got burned. Goes in for the great goal. Tampa will go up 1-0. 5 minutes left in the second. Peter Bond just skates in front, deflects it perfectly. Caps would tie it up at 1-1. A couple minutes later, no eye in team for Dave Andrechuk as he hits St. Louis for another goal. St. Louis would go up 2-1 and would win 3-1. It's a trend happening all over the sports world. Players leaving their longtime teams in search of a championship. In hockey, Ray Bourque left Boston to win a cup with Colorado. Now Junior Seau is trying to do the same in football. The longtime linebacker for the San Diego Chargers is packing up his gear for Miami. The Dolphins gave the Chargers a conditional 2004 draft choice for Seau, who is a 12-time Pro Bowler. Seau is in a different place now, but he says he won't forget San Diego anytime soon.
I want to thank the city of San Diego. I want to thank the San Diego Chargers. I want to thank the Charger fans for 13 great, memorable years. And I want them to know that I wish them well, except for October 27th.
Seau is referring to the day when San Diego will host Miami in a Monday night showdown. Seau only started 13 games last year because of an ankle injury, but hopes to rebound next season. It's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. What's the record for the most number of 300 games in a bowling career? We've got some pretty high numbers ranging from 60 to 78. We'll get the answer to that and more sports coming up in the second half hour of the show. Monty and Adria.
Thanks, Corey. Coming up, we'll take a look at a new movie with a classic whodunit plot. The film Identity, starring John Cusack, hopes to leave its audience guessing as the mystery unfolds.
And the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say autism affects as many as 6 people in 1,000. This means that as many as 1.5 million Americans today have some form of autism. Coming up, we'll talk to a woman who helps diagnose this disorder.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The University of North Dakota. You can go anywhere from here. At UND, you'll find a challenging, exciting community that draws students from across the nation and around the world. Visit our campus and join the University of North Dakota community.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
At UND Aerospace, let your future take flight. Plan your education in the most technologically advanced collegiate and contract aerospace training environment on the planet. Graduates work for top agencies and fly for every major airline nationwide. Study on campus, via distance learning, or at any of our facilities, and you'll be where the aviation industry leaders of tomorrow are today. UND Aerospace at the University of North Dakota, Grand Forks.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
The U.S. Department of Education says autism is growing at a rate of 10 to 17% per year. At these rates, it is estimated that the occurrence of autism could reach 4 million Americans in the next decade. Pediatric psychologist Catherine Yeager is here to talk to us about this often unknown disorder. Thank you so much for coming on. I know a lot of people have actually heard the term autism, but not a lot of people actually know what it is. So what exactly is autism?
Autism is considered to be a pervasive neurodevelopmental disorder. So what that means is essentially it's neurodevelopmental, meaning it occurs or it interrupts development, and it is something to do with the brain. It's a disorder of the brain. And the pervasive part means essentially that it affects all parts of kids' development. So it affects their social development, their communication, their interests, and pretty much all the way across the board.
So what are some common characteristics?
Well, those three areas I was talking about. Kids with autism typically often usually present with a communication as being their first symptoms that parents notice. They don't develop communication skills like other kids would. They'll often have some social impairments, so they may not be as interested in other people as other typically developing kids would. And then they may have some unusual interests. They may become really attached to unusual things, or they may, not play with toys in the typical way that kids do, that kind of thing. But like I said, the first thing that parents usually become aware of is the communication skills are lacking.
And what are some causes of autism?
We don't really know that. In fact, I think it's quite heavily researched, but we're really not that close to finding out. It is believed that there's some kind of a genetic basis, at least in some cases. Again, we know that it's affecting some part of the brain, but we don't really even consistently know what part of the brain. We do know that the information that goes into the brain in autistic kids is typically, gets in. They are receiving information, but something about how they process that information is not working correctly. We believe it's probably a disorder of the cortex of the brain, or the newer parts of the more evolved parts of the brain.
And who is most likely? Is there a typical group that kind of gets autism?
Boys are more likely than girls. Other than that, if you have a family history of autism, there is a higher likelihood of having autism in your family, although the risk still continues to be pretty low, even if you have a family history. You're still most likely not going to have another child with autism, but you're more likely to if you've had a first child who did.
And usually, when is the onset of autism? Are you born with this? Do you get it later in life?
Most kids, when looking back at their development, were probably born with those problems. The problems don't necessarily manifest very well until the child's a little bit older, so they don't usually notice them necessarily until the child's a little older, but then looking back, they might notice that the child didn't do things that were normal. Some of the examples might be that the child lacked what is called like an anticipatory reach, which means when normally little kids, if you reach down to them, they will put their arms back up to be picked up. Kids with autism maybe wouldn't, when parents look back, they didn't do that, or they tended to be more solitary in their play. At Christmas time, the videos show them kind of sitting off to themselves playing with boxes and not really participating with the rest of the family. But it may not be picked up until they're a little bit older. Other kids will actually look very normal until the age of two or three, something like that. And sometimes that's referred to as setback autism, where they seem to be developing normally, and then all of a sudden they just start to lose skills. And that does happen occasionally too. It's more rare.
And how do you treat things like that? When you talk about those characteristics of just kind of not being there socially, how do you treat autism?
Well, there are no cures for autism, so there are treatments, but I would want to stress that there is no cure, and any treatment that proposes itself as a cure, parents should be real leery of. What I usually recommend to families who have an autistic child is that they should look for treatments that address the specific problems that their child is having. So for example, the kids are going to have communication and language problems, they should have speech language therapy. If they're having any motor problems, then they need to have physical therapy. Kids with autism often have what we call sensory integration problems, which means something about how their senses, or how they're organizing sensory information, is not working correctly. That can be addressed with occupational therapy. Another therapy that I often recommend that parents at least consider is something called applied behavioral analysis, which is essentially breaking down behaviors into real small pieces and then teaching them to kids that way. And so that would be, how you would address, teaching these kids.
And what advice would you give to a parent who may suspect that their child has autism?
I would say, to go see your physician. If you're real concerned, you could also see a psychologist. I think that, most of the time parents get concerned when their kids aren't talking, and because there is a heightened awareness of autism, I think that scares parents a lot of the time. Most of the time, if a child is not talking, it is not autism. But, there are certain things they can look for. Things that are characteristic of autism may be things like not answering to their name, failure to learn to point is something that I usually will ask parents about. Kids typically in development will learn to point. Kids with autism often won't point. They'll do what's called hand leading, so they might pick up your hand and bring your hand to where they want it, but not necessarily point to objects. That doesn't mean your child's autistic, but those are not typically things that typically developing kids normally do. So they would cause some concern.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your information with us about this disorder.
Thanks.
With your wacky brand of basketball, the Harlem Globetrotters have made audiences smile around the world. We'll tell how the players and the team still take their sport seriously. Plus, posters, billboards, and banners are everywhere. Going through life without them might be a little difficult. Later, we'll spend a day in the life of a man who makes signs.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, Native American Programs is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Mystery, secrets, and murder all come together to create Sony Pictures' latest film. Actor John Cusack plays a worn-out ex-detective in the upcoming movie Identity. The film begins with 10 strangers caught in the middle of a fierce rainstorm. Each seeks for shelter in an old deserted motel. Strange things begin to happen, and they soon find out there is a killer among them. With every minute they waste, their lives are at stake. Eventually, they realize that it was not a mistake that they're all together. The strangers have more in common than they thought. One by one, they are murdered, and time is running out. John Cusack says that suspense is a key theme throughout the film.
This sort of keeps the tension pretty taut by sort of misdirection and not really knowing who people really are and trying to figure that out.
Both the director and producer of Identity had worked together previously. They collaborated on other films such as Copland and Girl Interrupted. Identity will be opening in theaters on April 25th. Now time to take a look at the events happening in your area. You see them everywhere. You can find them on the street, on a building, and even within your own home. Somebody has to make them. Today we spend a day in the life of a sign maker.
Signs. They come in all shapes and sizes. Without them, it would be impossible to function. They tell us where to go, what to do, and try to protect us. Bob Bidell is one of those people that help us through our day. He is a sign maker.
Struck out on my own and just got a couple jobs to do and worked out of my mom's garage. Just kept going from there.
And for 26 years now, Bob has been living out his dream of being a sign maker.
Luckily, it's something I enjoy doing. I don't have to, worry about going to work every day. Got to make a living somehow, and it just happens to be a good way to do it for me.
For the past century, the Bidell family has run several different businesses in the local area. Bob is no exception. His company is also a family-owned business. Bob designs and creates the signs while his wife does the paperwork. Bob says the sign-making business around the area is quite friendly because everyone seems to know each other.
Competition can be real stiff, but a lot of us work together. I mean, somebody runs out of a material or something. Hey, you got something for me? Oh, yeah. Come and pick it up.
With the neighborhood atmosphere such as this, no wonder Bob enjoys his job.
He does the nicest work that we've found for the price. He does very good work.
Even with satisfied customers, Bob's job can still prove to be challenging.
Be ready for anything. I mean, people come through the door with some pretty strange requests, and some are real simple, and some you gotta think about a little bit and figure out how you're gonna get them done.
So whether you're parking in the wrong spot, going out to eat, or just hanging out in the park, sign makers like Bob will always be a part of your day. With photographer Sten Brand, I'm Jill Gustafson, reporting for Studio One.
Bob also belongs to a national sign makers organization. They hold annual conventions to share ideas and review new technology. For some, Easter is a time to spend with family, visiting relatives, children hunting for Easter treats, and of course, some are always busy preparing food. Later in the show, we'll share a few special recipes for your Easter dinner. And there's one game that has been enjoyed by people of all ages for centuries. It doesn't take much skill, but some might say that it requires a great deal of luck. Later, we'll find out what game can keep the players coming back for more. That's story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
North Dakota has been home to many successful entrepreneurs. George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty is the founder of one of the nation's high-tech giants, Texas Instruments. And Raymond Rood's product has been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. He is responsible for the modern diving board. Ryan Foltz is the first graduate of the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Are you next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello and welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for coming today and watching us. We, I've been known to shoot hoops with the best of them. I don't like to brag or anything like that. But you put me on a 6-foot rim and I'm dangerous, I'm telling you. But we have later in the show a great story coming up with the Harlem Globetrotters.
I'm excited.
And they can sure juke and jive. They're really good at what they do.
I've never seen them, so.
So we look forward to that. Also coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One. Most of the fighting is over, but the wait continues for families who have loved ones in Iraq. We'll introduce you to one couple who's going through this experience for the second time.
And daubers, good luck charms, and a few good friends are all you need to play this game. Coming up, we'll see exactly what is necessary to win it big playing bingo.
And if you want to know how you can spice up your ham and potatoes for Easter dinner, stay with us. Chef Kim Holmes will be sharing one of his secret recipes, and I can smell it already.
I know.
It's good. Before we get to all that, here's today's news with Haley Wamstead.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. The growing fears of the SARS virus will make Easter in Toronto like no other. Churches there are taking drastic steps to try to halt the spread of severe acute respiratory syndrome. The communion cup will not be shared, the traditional handshake of peace will not be exchanged, and churchgoers will not be allowed to kiss the crucifix. So far, 13 people have died in Canada from SARS, and almost 250 suspected cases of the virus have been reported in the Toronto area alone. The situation in Toronto began when the infected man was sent home only to contaminate his family. He later died. Nearly 500 people who attended his funeral have been quarantined. The creator of a popular diet has died from injuries he received in a fall earlier this month. Dr. Robert Atkins, the creator of the Atkins diet, died after slipping on an icy sidewalk April 8th outside his office. His followers thought Atkins was a pioneer. His critics accused him of selling a dangerous idea. The Atkins diet allows people to eat foods high in fat and protein, but restricts carbohydrates and sugar. This allowed dieters to load up on meat and cheese instead of bread and pasta. The American Dietetic Association was among Atkins' harshest critics. Atkins was 72. In the past, when American troops were involved in a conflict, many would bake cookies and send them care packages from home. But as concerns over terrorism has grown, that's no longer allowed. So people are having to come up with other ways to support our troops. A group of radio stations in North Dakota, Minnesota, and Indiana have begun to fund drive to buy phone cards for troops deployed overseas. The effort is being called the Million Minute March because it is trying to raise 1 million calling card minutes for the American troops.
We can all say our prayers and we can all support the families that are still here at home, but this is something that they can put in their hands, they can pick up the phone and they can hear their loved ones' voices, and it just makes sense as we're real family-oriented on our radio stations that we would want to connect with something that is putting people back in touch with their families.
The program has already distributed many cards to troops overseas. So far, the stations have raised nearly $10,000 in their march toward 1 million minutes. With U.S. troops at war in Iraq, more Americans are choosing to permanently display their patriotism. Tattoo artists have seen an increased interest in designs of flags, eagles, and other patriotic symbols. They say some of the increase is coming from soldiers who want to show some red, white, and blue when they are fighting for America in the war. Some artists say the war in Iraq is not bringing in more customers, but they are seeing more people choosing patriotic tattoos instead of other designs. Many tattoo artists also saw an increase in patriotic tattoos after September 11th. As the conflict in Iraq begins to wind down, families across the nation are waiting for the safe and speedy return of their loved ones. For one family, this is the second time they've had to wait for their son's return from the Middle East.
Ooh, they had another one that surrendered.
Many families across the nation are waiting patiently for the return of their loved ones. Miles and Carol Korn from Oslo, Minnesota are waiting for their son, Captain Bill Kinsey, who was sent to Kuwait last September as part of the 3rd Infantry 2nd Brigade. Captain Kinsey had been in Kuwait in 1991, and his mother says that when she found out he was leaving again, she could tell it was going to be different.
I really wasn't looking forward, and I knew it was going to be a lot more difficult this time. I knew it was going to be done sooner or later.
The Korns miss their son a lot, but have kept in touch through email and letters.
A lot of brown, a lot of sand. And this is what he works in, what he's living in now, I imagine.
His office, I guess.
His office, yeah.
In March, the unit moved further into the desert, and the Corns have not heard anything since. To keep updated, they watch the news frequently.
They have a reporter that is embedded with them. And my first impulse was, oh, this is going to be way too much information. I'm not going to like this. But it really has been good because I think it gives us much more of a connection with what they're going through.
The Corns say that one thing that always helps them feel better is to pray.
Just been praying for them. We have them on prayer chains, and so that we just keep them in our prayers.
I was talking to my sister today, and I said, he is on conservatively 12 prayer chains.
The Corns have decorated their house patriotically in hopes that this will show how proud they are of Bill and that they are awaiting for his safe return. Miles and Carol say that they hope when Bill returns he can sit down with them and enjoy a home-cooked meal.
Because we'll have lots to talk about when he gets home.
This is Alyssa German reporting for Studio One News.
Miles and Carol are not the only ones anxious for Bill's return. He also has a wife living on a military base in Georgia. And that's news for today. Monty and Adria.
Thanks a lot, Haley. Well, something that has been totally unpredictable the last little while is the weather.
I know, it's like your birthday every day. You don't know what you're going to get. You got a little present. You might have some snow, might have some rain. You never know. So why don't we go check in with Nadine Schrader at the Regional Weather Information Center.
Well, Monty and Adria, it looks like, though, we're going to see some rain as we go into this weekend. Temperatures are going to go back up, but before we get to that, let's look at our current conditions in Grand Forks. Currently in Grand Forks, we're sitting at a temperature of 42 degrees, which is our high for the day under mostly cloudy skies, and the winds are still blowing out of the southwest at 10 miles per hour. Certain cities across the United States are always at the risk of flooding. Building an adequate defense system has become a top priority for local and state governments.
The flood of 1997 had left communities near the Red River Valley, which separates Minnesota and North Dakota, devastated. But in Grand Forks and East Grand Forks, the Army Corps of Engineers is working on levee projects to help prevent another flood.
As well as the levees here, we also have stop log road closures because, of course, we still have roads that go through the levee areas where they'll be able to put up stop logs in the event of flooding.
The project is in Phase 2, leaving 2 more phases to be completed in the next few years. When the levee system is complete, it will help protect Grand Forks and East Grand Forks from another flood.
Grand Forks is going to look a little bit like a medieval walled city because it's going to have levees around both the northern point all the way around and also around the point area, the southern area.
With an estimated cost of $393 million, the levee system will be one of the most extensive flood protection systems in the country. I'm Aaron Swanson, reporting for Studio One.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is the primary department for developing the levee systems. Fortunately for our region, the Army Corps has been able to work through the flood season this year due to the lack of snowfall this winter. Well, it looks like that snow that is on the ground right now is going to melt and go away throughout the weekend. We are going to see sunny skies tomorrow, but we are going to see some more chances of rain on Saturday and Sunday. So our temperatures work back up through the weekend, 62 for our high on Monday. Your answer to your Studio One weather IQ question: during the flood of 1997, what level did the Red River crest at in Grand Forks, North Dakota? Your answer is D, 54.11 feet, about 26 feet above the flood stage, which did happen about 6 years ago. Will be the anniversary this coming up Tuesday, the 22nd.
Thank you so much, Nadine.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was a big flood. Big deal around
that's
here.
like 6 of me.
That's a lot, yeah. All right, well, let's go now to sports again with Corey Morlock.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. They've traveled all around the world entertaining fans with their goofy gags and their amazing basketball. The Harlem Globetrotters are known mostly for their tricks and pranks, but they are also great basketball players.
The Harlem Globetrotters have been wowing audiences with their creative brand of basketball for more than 75 years. In those years, they've had such stars as Wilt Chamberlain and Magic Johnson play on their team. Not only does the team hold the world record for number of games played, but also the world record for the highest vertical slam dunk. But still, many people are skeptical of the team and view them as a mere gag act.
When they think Globetrotters, that's the first thing they remember is the water.
But the Globetrotter players are more than just jokesters. They are actual athletes.
Because it doesn't matter how many tricks you do, the ball still got to go through the hole.
Every player that comes to the Harlem Globetrotters organization has been a member in some college team. We've had All-Americans, we've had professional guys.
Paul Showtime Gaffney is the main funny man for the Globetrotters. But even he knows real talent when he sees it.
Once you see these guys handling the ball tonight, you know that it's all skill.
But every player admits one thing. Along with showcasing their athletic talent, they all enjoy interacting with the fans and traveling to many different places.
I have been to 60 different countries in my 10 seasons. I have met people like President Mandela, kings and queens of London, the presidents, other celebrities. So again, you know, I will see more in a month and do more in a month than most people will do in a lifetime.
While they want to show off their athleticism, the team's main objective is to entertain their fans and have fun.
Bringing smiles on people's faces when they come to the game for 2 hours and leave their problems behind, and I love doing it.
The fans love watching them so much that the Globetrotters have been voted the most popular and liked professional entertainment team in the world. And with their skills and showmanship, it's not hard to see why. For Studio One Sports, this is Max Huber.
Along with every other pro team in the market, the Globetrotters try to recruit the best players in the game. Players can also send in tapes and resumes to the team. The best applicants are then invited to a Globetrotter training camp and try out. Now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports trivia question: what is the record for the most number of 300 games in a bowling career? Our answer is C, 74, by Jeff Carter of Springfield, Illinois. He has 74 perfect games and 21 299-point games. And that's the sports for today. Monty and Adria.
Thanks, Corey. Smoking in public places such as bars and restaurants used to be a common sight. It is slowly becoming a thing of the past. Coming up, we'll listen to some of your thoughts on how this affects you.
And whether you play bingo for fun or to win, it just never seems to get old. We'll take a look at why one woman has been playing for 15 years. That story is next on Studio One.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One, your source for news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
Smoking has been a common sight in public places throughout the years. Soon, this may change. The City of New York recently passed a law prohibiting smoking in places such as restaurants and bars. Since 1998, California and Delaware have been smoke-free as well. We wanted college students' thoughts on smoking in public places.
I think it's a good law. It keeps smoking out of public places. People that don't like smoking, that are allergic to smoke, keeps it out of their faces and other reasons like that.
Like if you go to a bar or something, it's always so much better just to be able to have a cigarette. And if people don't want that type of environment, then they shouldn't have to go. There should be a smoking section or something.
Well, personally, I'm not a smoker and I work in a restaurant. And having smoke around sometimes a little unappetizing for people around, since like I'm not a smoker, so I think it's a good idea. I think maybe it should be in a couple other states too.
I think if you want to smoke, you should be able to smoke in public places, say in restaurants or whatnot. I think it's okay.
Smoking smells bad, and if you don't smoke, it's pretty unpleasant to sit in a restaurant when there's smoke around, and people can go outside. It's not going to...
There's a game that was invented in Italy and has been around since the 16th century. Playing it does not require any special skills or talents. Although it brings money to many players, research says the #1 reason for playing is enjoyment.
Daubers full of ink, cards across the table, and a bingo caller repetitively giving out letters and numbers. How exciting can this be?
It's fun. I mean, there's really nothing else to do in Grand Forks. And it's a fun thing. You get a lot of people, a lot of good people.
Diane Niles is a 15-year bingo playing veteran. She used to be a walker and a cashier in a bingo palace, but decided to quit the job and start playing herself. Some say it's difficult to stop playing once you get involved in the process.
If you played bingo and you won a pretty good pot, which is, you know, like say you win a pot for $1,000, sometimes that kind of, you know, you kind of get the liking for it.
Every night after work, Diane comes here with her friends.
When you win really big, I split it with my sister here and then the other friend. We all play together. Oh, it goes in streaks. Sometimes you can go and win 3-4 times in a row, and then you can go for 6-7 months without winning.
Really, the only thing you can do is rely on the luck and maybe help your chances a little bit.
These are lucks, good luck charms. See here, this is an elephant. You buy them up there at the jars. And they're just good luck charms. My sister won it 3 years ago for $10,000, so it can be done.
It's not only for money that people keep coming back here.
As the regular customers come in, you get to know them by first and last names, and pretty much you become one of their friends also.
As long as people enjoy socializing and hope to win big, this ancient game will go on and on and on. With photographer Troy Clifton, I'm Natalia Polaeva reporting for Studio One.
There are 2.5 million regular women bingo players in the world. Research shows that they are much happier playing bingo than men. Many people start preparing Easter dinner hours and even days before the actual meal. Coming up next, Chef Kim Holmes will tell us how you can prepare your meal so you have more time with family.
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The Graduate School at the University of North Dakota is the premier graduate school of the Northern Great Plains, offering advanced degrees in more than 50 fields of study. Our innovative and flexible programs give full-time students, as well as working professionals, the opportunity to study under the guidance of nationally and internationally recognized faculty. Advance your career with a master's or doctoral degree from the Graduate School at the University of North Dakota.
Holidays are a time for families, fun, and of course, food.
Easter is right around the corner, and we wanted to give you some ideas for your Easter dinner. Here to share his recipe for pineapple glazed ham and cheesy potatoes is Chef Kim Holmes. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
It smells so good.
Yeah,
I
think, like you said, we should just skip everything and just dive right into it.
No. You'll get your share. Just be patient.
So how does one start preparing a meal like this?
There are many types of hams. There are uncooked hams. This happens to be a cooked ham. The uncooked hams you cook 18, 20 minutes a pound, depending on the size, in a 325-degree oven. This you cook in the 325 oven for about 10 minutes a pound, or till the internal temperature with a thermometer is 140 degrees.
Okay.
All right.
And this is it looks like a boneless.
This is a boneless, no water added ham. It's the high end of the boneless hams. What we've done here is a very traditional ham, and you mix a glaze with brown sugar, honey, and your favorite mustard. And then I take the juice from the pineapple rings, and then I mix that all together. And then I coat the ham, then I put the pineapple slices with the cherry, and then pour some more glaze over it. I cover it and I bake it. For this, I baked for 45 minutes, and then took the foil off and coated it with some more glaze and cooked for another 15 minutes to brown. And before you do all that, you score the ham. You see the...
I was just going to say, I see these little cutting lines.
I'm going to take this one off so we can get a better look here. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
what is the purpose of doing that?
To get more of the juice and the sauce into the ham, and bake down into the ham.
Okay, and it looks like about an inch down with the scoring.
Yes,
is that
3/4 to an inch.
Okay.
It's your preference, and that's how we do the ham. Now, any other questions about the ham?
And when you score it, do you do both? So it's
crisscross
like
it.
almost at the
Like
top.
a dominoes.
Oh, okay.
I have one more question
Yes,
about
sir.
the glaze. Right before we went on, you poured some over the top of it. Is it okay then to grab some of that glaze and then, for presentation purposes,
Well,
put some more on top? Or?
What I did with this is I cooked it on a rack, lifted it up off the rack. I put a half a bottle of Riesling, a sweet wine, white wine, and then the glaze runs off of that, and it cooks, and then you make a sauce, which I've made right here, which we poured over the ham right now just to make it look pretty. But when you all come through the line, we'll get a little sauce on each slice.
Okay. Now, what about the potatoes? Those look just as good as this ham does.
Yeah. Well, this is a recipe I learned when I worked in Switzerland. And you take red potatoes in the jacket. I use about a dozen. The recipe will be posted. I have it all right here for you.
Great, good.
You take red potatoes, you cook them the night before, okay? Then you refrigerate them. Then the next morning you peel them, you slice them. I cut it in half lengthwise, and then slice them in about 1/4-inch slices. And then I make a sauce, a bechamel sauce. Actually, since we're not talking French anymore, a bechamel sauce, or in America, a white sauce.
Okay, there you go.
More like a cream, okay.
Okay, and you saute onions in olive oil. Then you add equal parts of flour and butter to make your roux, okay? That's your thickening agent. Then you cook that for 8 to 10, 12 minutes. And when that has a little nutty flavor to it and doesn't taste like flour anymore, then you pour about 1.5 quarts of milk in here, about 2 cups at a time.
Nothing yet that you're talking about is surprising me as far as ingredients. They're all things that we know.
Oh, it's very simple to do. It's just making the white sauce and making that up ahead. Now, both of these dishes can be prepared the day before. So come Easter, all you have to do is bake it.
Put it in the oven and go.
Yeah.
Now,
but I'm not finished yet. All right.
I was going to ask you about the cheese. Are you going to get to the cheese?
That was next.
Okay, good.
Monty, I'm with you.
I like
on
cheese,
the same page. You only give me 6 minutes, and I just, I've got to be focused here. So what we do is you put a layer of the sauce, then the sliced potatoes, and you arrange them in a row like that, and any leftover you kind of put on the top. Then you take Gruyere cheese. That's a Swiss cheese, and I use imported Gruyere. We use it in the restaurant. But you grate 1 pound of that, and then you sprinkle that on top. Then you put the rest of the sauce on, and then you smooth that out, and then the rest of the cheese is what you see here, goes on top of that. You bake that covered for about 45 minutes, and then uncover it for the last 10 to 15 minutes until you get this finish, this golden brown.
And it looks beautiful,
Yeah.
golden
It does.
brown.
Yeah.
Now, I can guarantee, of course, you can't do the Monty special and use the cheese in the can or anything like that.
You
right?
can use Monty any cheese you want.
All right.
If you don't like Gruyere cheese, you can use cheddar, Monterey Jack, pepper jack, whatever cheese is your favorite. That's what I recommend. But I find Gruyere with the onions and the cream and the milk and it's a great combination.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. Our time is always so short, isn't it?
It's way too short,
All
but
right.
I'm very honored that you asked me, and thank you very much.
Good. Well, we're going to get a little taste of this a little bit later.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks for watching. You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this with the recipe.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, Native American Programs is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
At UND Aerospace, let your future take flight. Plan your education in the most technologically advanced collegiate and contract aerospace training environment on the planet. Graduates work for top agencies and fly for every major airline nationwide. Study on campus, via distance learning, or at any of our facilities, and you'll be where the aviation industry leaders of tomorrow are today. UND Aerospace at the University of North Dakota, Grand Forks.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Valor Insurance partners with you in protecting what matters most. For more than 50 years, Valor has built its reputation on its people, its clients, and a commitment to VIP service. Valor Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks. Valor Insurance understands that the strength of its people is its greatest asset. People that tailor insurance protection that meets your needs. That's the key to VIP service. Valor Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks.
Tune in next week on Studio One. We'll find out what it takes to become a honey queen and what exactly that means. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
Be sure to check our website for Chef Kim Holmes' recipes for glazed ham and potatoes. We'll leave you with pictures now of a string quartet practicing their music among art. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.